And good evening. We begin here at 5 tonight with winter weather all around our region. It's soggy in the valley, and this is the view from the wet roads on Interstate 84 in Troutdale. And there is snow in the mountains, a lot of it, with more on the way tonight in the Cascades. And a winter storm warning that started this afternoon in the Gorge. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. Let's get right to the Weather Center, where Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino is tracking the snow tonight. Wintry weather has arrived, Matt.
Yeah, it's all around us, Laurel. The Central Gorge and the Cascades will really bear the brunt of the snowfall. The valleys, the cold rain, of course, and the heaviest precipitation hasn't even arrived yet. Still moving into the Washington coast. That'll be sagging inland overnight. So it's going to get very blustery and be very stormy during the overnight hours. The valleys, meanwhile, have a wind advisory because of the strong southeast winds that will develop tonight, then switch to the southwest. But up in the Cascades and in the Gorge, it's really going to dump. So for the Gorge first, winter storm warning until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Up to a foot of new snow by that time. Then the east wind is going to shift to westerly. That'll warm things up a bit and push the snow level up. Not very high, but above the river level. So up to about 500 feet or so. So that means for Hood River and I-84 through the Gorge, it'll turn to all rain. And really, west of Cascade Locks, certainly west of Multnomah Falls, we probably won't see any snow at all. So it's really going to be that Central Gorge and the upper Hood River Valley, which may just stay snow right on through tomorrow and tomorrow night. Winter storm warning in the Cascades, up to 2 feet of new snow. So the skiing just keeps getting better and better. But it's going to be windy, and the passes will be snow covered in spite of the snow level going up a bit. And then for the valleys, we've got a wind advisory for gusts of 40 miles an hour. It's just going to get windier as the night goes on, and there could be power outages, down tree limbs, and the like, the usual things that happen when we get a good windstorm in the valleys. Tomorrow, still blustery with the winds. Best chance for valley snow either Thursday night, Friday morning, or Friday night, Saturday morning, but it's not a very good chance. It's not exactly the right setup for valley snow, but it certainly is for the Cascades. Laurel, back to you.
So much going on. Thank you, Matt. Skiers and boarders are grateful to see all that snow piling up in the Cascades. Yesterday, Timberline Lodge opened for the season, and this morning, Mount Hood Meadows followed suit. Christelle Kumwe takes us up to the mountain.
Any snow is great snow, especially in November.
That's always the hope here at Mount Hood Meadows. And this year, Dave Dragathon with the ski resort says they're in luck.
And this storm is making it happen for us.
Thanks to snow piling up in the mountains over the last couple of days, on Tuesday morning, Meadows officially opened for its 55th season.
We've got 37 inches here in the base area and closer to between 4.5 and 5 feet up at mid-mountain. And that's what we're looking for by later in the week, to be able to connect our base area here with some of the upper lifts.
Meadows has Daisy, Easy Rider, Buttercup, and the ballroom carpet lifts open.
We advise everybody with early season conditions that you have to watch for unmarked obstacles and that there are areas that can be kind of shallow.
While Meadows got enough snow to officially start the season, other areas like right here in Sandine got a light dusting. And that's promising news for local businesses.
As the snow kind of comes down, we just get hordes of people coming from Portland, just big rushes. So it's really nice to get everyone out on the mountain.
Meadowlark Ski Shop in Sandy is closed in the summer. So manager Gary says even a small dusting of snow is a good sign for business.
After the pandemic, it seems like business has gotten even busier. So people want to get out on the mountain.
People like Jake and Wally, who've been up the mountain twice already this week.
This is a good time to get out with your friends and see a lot of really cool stuff.
Go ride the slopes and get some fresh powder, you know.
And everyone around here is pretty stoked for some fresh powder.
The stoke level is very high here, and we're just seeing a lot of snow in the windows for the forecast over the next 10 to 14 days. La Nina will do this, and it's a great way to get the season going.
And with more snow on the way, they expect to open additional lifts by the weekend. At Mount Hood Meadows, Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
And that stoke level will get even higher. We have a traffic alert for you tonight. Westbound Highway 26 is closed right now near Banks due to a deadly crash. This is at Northwest Dersham Road by exit 55. Oregon State Police confirm now at least one person has died. These pictures from a viewer show that firefighters had to cut off the roof of a car to get someone out. They're asking people to avoid the area and to please find another route. A large problematic homeless camp off North Columbia Boulevard is getting cleared today. Blair Best has been covering this camp for months as it's negatively impacted nearby businesses with little response from the city until today.
This is what's left of a large homeless encampment buried in the woods off North Columbia Boulevard in the St. John's neighborhood. PBOT crews removed vehicles, some of them stolen, from the encampment that's been years in the making, formerly known as Grace's Oasis. This is the site that was charging campers rent to illegally squat on government-owned property.
It's taken a toll on all the businesses out here. I mean, it's not helping.
Jeff White runs Kurt's RV and Storage right next door. Those living at the camp have targeted his business by breaking in and stealing from him numerous times, and he spent months reporting it to the city.
It's been way too long. I know there's camps everywhere, but it's been like 6-8 months.
That's how long it's taken the city to respond to this camp. But every car, every trailer, a home. It's a very hectic atmosphere here in this homeless camp off North Columbia Boulevard as PBOT crews remove dozens of broken down cars, even things like this large boat. Now, friends of those living in this camp are frantically trying to help the homeless pack up their things before the city forces them out for good.
This definitely does not help on the road to getting our life back on our feet at all.
Brian McKenzie has lived here for 6 months.
To be honest, we'll probably just leave for a couple nights and come back after it's clean.
Really?
Really, that's how everybody does it.
In North Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
The homeless crisis is just one issue the city of Portland is facing. Record levels of gun violence is another. And to make matters worse, the Portland Police Bureau finds itself in the middle of a staffing crisis. Let's bring in Mike Benner in our newsroom. And Mike, this staffing crisis is not due to a lack of interest in the job.
Not at all, Laurel. In fact, last year, more than 600 people applied to be a police officer, more than double that this year. If anything, the staffing crisis has more to do with a lack of staff able to do background checks on applicants, not to mention the Bureau's high standards that were met by the two people you're about to hear from.
The Records Division at the Portland Police Bureau is where California transplant Amy Nidifer took a job in February of this year. She was beyond excited to be putting her criminal justice degree to good use. But almost immediately after taking the job, Amy got an itch.
Reading the reports and seeing how much our officers do to help the community and connect them with resources and be there for them, it totally changed my my perspective on officers, and that really pushed me to be like, oh, I want to go out there and help too. So.
In April, the 25-year-old applied to be an officer. She was hired and sworn in August. In fact, this is video from Amy's swearing-in ceremony. Next month, she'll start months' worth of training before hitting the streets that have seen unusual amounts of crime, including record levels of gun violence.
I think for me, just being here when it's tough, when we're having a tough time and trying to help them and help the community get out of that, being part of that healing process is so fulfilling.
Yeah. Echoing that sentiment is Trey Jackson, who is joining the police bureau at the young age of 21. The Portland native tells us he applied last December and was hired and sworn in July, adding that he might not have chosen this career if not for the school resource officer at his elementary school.
He used to show me his car, let me go through, he gave me stickers every day. He was a really good guy, and then when I turned 15, he told me to start thinking about the cadet program because he knew that I've always wanted to be a police officer.
Trey and Amy make up 2 of the 89 officers currently training to join a bureau that finds itself in the middle of a staffing crisis. As of November 29th, the bureau has less than 800 sworn members. That's down considerably from the more than 1,000 sworn members back in 2019.
We desperately want to have more police officers.
Sergeant Trevor Tyler, who spent a year and a half in the Bureau's personnel division, says hiring officers is no easy task. Just look at what happened in 2021. We know that 675 people applied to be a Portland police officer, but only 27 people were hired. Sergeant Tyler says a lack of background checkers is one explanation, but he adds that some applicants might be disqualified for things like recent marijuana use or a poor driving record.
You can't be a driver if you've had 3 moving violations in 3 years per our city insurance policy. We don't want to have high risk drivers because it's such a big part of our job.
All of that said, Sergeant Tyler says the Bureau is working its way out of the staffing crisis. And for proof, look no further than the recent hires, who aren't fazed by the current climate in the Rose City.
Nowadays, the city's not as clean or as safe as it used to be. And I think that it's going to take a group of professional, tough-minded individuals to really, take it back and make it a better place.
I understand some people have left because it's a tough time, and there's no secret to that. But the people that are here, they love their jobs. That is the most amazing and incredible thing about this Bureau.
And playing into the staffing crisis is the time it takes to train new hires. Take Amy Nidifer, for instance. She's been officially hired. She's about to start academy, but it might not be until this time next year she's working the streets on her own. Laurel?
Interesting insight. Thank you, Mike. The group Don't Shoot Portland has settled a lawsuit with the city of Portland. It's over the police bureau's use of tear gas during the summer protests of 2020. 5 protesters who say they were hurt by tear gas will each get more than $50,000. Don't Shoot Portland will also get a symbolic $1 award. In June of 2020, a judge issued a restraining order limiting when police could use tear gas and less lethal force against protesters. He later found officers violated that order. As part of the lawsuit settlement, Portland police will also be limited moving forward when it comes to crowd control. And that includes restrictions on when they can use tear gas and a ban on flashbang rubber ball devices. A grand jury has cleared 2 officers of wrongdoing in a deadly shooting from June. A Clackamas County detective and an Oregon State trooper shot and killed 24-year-old Derek Clark following a car chase near Milwaukee. Authorities say they tried to stop Clark that night for speeding. They say he tried to escape before crashing into a ditch. He then, they say, got out of the car with a gun and ran, raising the gun in the air at one point, and that's when he was shot and killed. Last night, a Clackamas County grand jury returned what's called a not true bill, clearing the officers of any wrongdoing.